Watch Smash's video since I have to catch up on it. How about that? We'll just watch
This
Smash's
morning I
video.
woke up
Oh,
to
hold on. We'll just watch Smash's video because I'm not familiar with what's going on. So
This morning I woke up to a video on my feed from Asmongold reacting to a channel called Pata Plays called The Rise and Fall of Gaming Journalism, discussing why gaming journalists are no longer trusted in the industry and how they are losing credibility as time goes on.
yeah, he got fucking Asmongold to react. Somebody told me not too long ago Asmongold reacted to one of my videos, but I don't think he watched it very long. I think he watched like the first minute because my videos aren't as well done as Smash's. I think he just watched the first minute and moved on. I don't think he clipped it, but that's really cool. Like
And wouldn't you know it, just like 20 minutes later, do I get tagged by Jay Viper on Twitter that says, "Hey, Smash, did you see that Jeff Grubb looks to be stealing your story here?" And saying, "Hey, HJR with a pen, next time you write an article on PC Gamer."
okay, so he got called out. So allegedly, Jeff Grubb stole the content or took credit for this breaking story. See, I was off of Twitter, so I missed out on it. So Jay Viper, shout outs to them, basically said next time you write an article on PC Gamer, how about giving proper credit? Smash JT had the Corinne Busche news long before Jeff did. Video and post were up, was even on Hypnocast before Grubb posted on X. Grummz even had the departing email. So Jeff Grubb actually is somebody that at one point, I actually used to use Jeff Grubb as a source for like Switch news, PlayStation news, Xbox news, and I don't know what happened. I don't know, has he always been woke or did I miss it? Ever since the giant bomb couch incident where he was like on the couch with Alyssa Mercante when she did the fight me physically thing, it seems like he's just like turned up the insufferableness. I'm actually surprised I'm not blocked by him. I'm honestly surprised I'm not blocked by him. But this is interesting considering they call us all news regurgitators. They say that all we do is steal our own stuff and stuff like that. So I don't know. Very interesting, Jeff Grubb.
How about giving proper credit? Smash JT had the Corinne Busche news long before Jeff Grubb did. Video and post were up, was even on Hypnocast from Real Hypnotic before Grubb posting on X. Grummz even had the departing email. So now we have a story where Jeff Grubb is apparently taking credit for a source that me and Grummz had worked with to get this
All
story
right, so
right,
everybody's calling
working
him out basically.
tirelessly for days to.
Okay, so this is an update, or this was part of the Corinne Busche story that I covered on that video. And I guess this was his source, Smash's alleged source, saying that Corinne Busche is gone and that BioWare Edmonton is going to be shutting down.
To make sure that we got it right before we went public with it, just to be swooped up by Jeff Grubb and take full.
So, okay, so he swooped up, took it, and wrote this. Corinne Busche, director of Dragon Age, really is leaving BioWare, but I don't think EA is closing BioWare Edmonton. Was told there's nothing solid about that part of the rumor. Huh. So the one thing that he's saying differently is that he doesn't think EA is closing BioWare Edmonton. So that's the only thing different about the story.
Credit for it, and then we see mainstream media and games journalism give Jeff Grubb full credit because this is what they always do. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another.
So instead of being honest and being like Jeff and Grummz broke this story, they're giving Jeff Grubb the credit. Of course they are. Those mainstream outlets will never say Grummz. They'll never say Smash JT. That's exactly what.
Episode of Smash JT, and it would appear that Jeff Grubb has straight up stolen our story from Grummz and myself, together working tirelessly to put it together, and just swooping in, taking credit for it, and then all of his journal buddies parroting the idea all over their.
I really used to use this guy as a credit all the time.
Websites from Eurogamer, VG247, IGN, multiple different outlets in major sources, all now sourcing Jeff Grubb for a story that he stole. Yeah, I really don't think this is going to help the perception of mainstream games media.
Yeah, the perception of mainstream games media is terrible. So Jaeger19 Ultima says, I never believed they would close BioWare for getting rid of a director. Nobody said that they're closing BioWare for getting rid of a director. That was an additional story on top of what's going on behind the scenes. The director left, or claims they left, but we all know the director got fired because Veilguard completely flopped, completely freaking failed as a video game. So what happens if you don't do good at your job? You leave. Now, sure, directors do bounce back and forth between studios and stuff like that, but the studio was a whole separate story in itself. The studio was a whole different tidbit that alleged sources gave on top of it, saying, hey, that ain't the only thing going on. This Edmonton studio is rumored to be shutting down, and they said February 2025. So we'll find out quickly if the source that was provided is full of shit or not. You know, this day and age, anybody can make crap up, anybody could post stuff, anybody could say stuff, but we'll find out shortly who's wrong or right, right? There's two sides to a story. I'm going to lean towards that BioWare's in trouble because they've had to have lost a lot of fucking money off of Veilguard.
Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for the full article breaking down how Jeff Grubb basically straight up stole our story and now running with it and owning the bad guy look because he thinks it's a joke now. The journalist, as these media outlets are calling him, who straight up acknowledges that he took this...
I swear, I don't remember Jeff Grubb being like as wild as he's acting now.
Story and is basically dancing on us because he doesn't like us. He already has me blocked and he doesn't think I'm important enough.
He doesn't have me blocked, but he probably will definitely block me after this video. He definitely doesn't have me blocked.
But joke's on him because we are winning, and this is once again a terrible look for Jeff Grubb. Although people like this probably love just being talked about, so what do I know? This is all getting pretty gross. Trust in mainstream games journalism is at an all-time low and somehow seemingly still plummeting further every day that passes.
Yeah, a lot of people are losing trust in journalism, but all these journalists are also attacking consumers. They think all of you guys watching this are stupid, that you guys can't think for yourselves. They think that all of you guys are a bunch of hillbillies. They literally mock you guys. They don't think that you should have any kind of opinion. They think fan voting is stupid. You remember Mercante went on that tangent about how Wukong winning Game of the Year for Steam was bullshit because it was fan voted. That's how they all think.
Jeff Grubb has provided everyone with yet another glaring example of why the trust has been eroding so badly. Hours after Grummz and I broke the news on X and followed up with an article on Smash...
So Matthew Wilk says the reported budget for Dragon Age Veilguard was $250 million. Yeah, they definitely didn't make that back. I bet you they didn't even make $100 million back. I would venture to say that. I think Veilguard struggled to get 1.5 million sales.
JT.com and a video on my YouTube channel detailing the departure of Corinne Busche, the former director of Dragon Age the Veilguard from BioWare. Jeff Grubb
by the way, transgender woman,
conveniently swooped in to pass the scoop off as it was his own and common knowledge, and he's just giving his take on it because, yeah, she's gone, but I'm just going to comment on this, not going to source anyone, quote tweet them, reference them, even though he got the information from someone else. 4+ hours after we broke the story, Grubb tweeted, Corinne Busche, director of Dragon Age, is really leaving BioWare.
So he did it a few hours after. That's interesting. That is interesting that he did it a few hours after. I wonder... That had to be by design. Okay, now, I did see some people tweeting about it, saying that Jeff Grubb has more credibility, that Grummz and Smash are grifters. I hate that word. That they don't have any credibility, that Jeff Grubb should be the one that gets the credit. I mean, you can't argue time. If they broke it hours before Grubb did, why is Grubb getting all the credit?
But I don't think EA is closing BioWare Edmonton. Was told there's nothing solid about that part of the rumor.
Again, we'll find out in February.
Okay, what rumor? Like, this was a story that we broke. And if it's a story that you're referencing and not just a generic hearsay coming from nowhere rumor, why wouldn't you reference the people who brought it up? It's very curious. It's almost like you...
Because you're anti-woke.
Don't want people to get any kind of acknowledgement in the community. This was a report that Grummz and I have been working tirelessly on for days to get it right. We knew this was huge news, and if true, the credibility was paramount in the...
Yeah, this was that guy from Quebec. I forget what his name is, but he was a guy that claims that he worked at BioWare at one point, and he was talking about the toxic workplace environment. I forget what this guy's channel is, but Smash and Grummz interviewed him on Smash's channel. There was a couple articles written about it, what he had to say. It escapes me at this moment.
Industry to make sure we got it right. So we didn't just go blabbering about it like, oh, I heard this is happening and this might be No, we wanted to make sure we corroborated it with our sources, the insiders that work there, to make sure this is all true before we bring it to you guys. You know, a lot of work behind the scenes that you don't see. That goes into a lot of the stuff that I do, but at some point you got to start wondering if these people don't understand how much work actually goes on behind the scenes between all these videos. Grubb continued, and thanks to everyone who is pointing out that reporting like this is what made me Leaker of the Year.
What an insufferable dude Jeff Grubb has become, honestly.
On r/gaming leaks and rumors, basically patting himself on the back that he's the one that came up with this.
But yeah, I used to use him as a credit for rumors and speculation and leaks and everything, and now it's like, the more I see from him on Twitter, the more I'm like, okay, how did he just recently start getting like that? Like, people claim I changed for Culture War.
No, like, he sourced it as a generic rumor, and now he's saying that he's the person that gets Leaker of the Year because he reports on the rumor. I'm very confused at what kind of credit he's even trying to take here. But it gets better, because he continues and says, okay, relax. Lots of you are going to throw the word hero around, and while I agree that you wouldn't have ever learned about this story without me, I'll settle for role model to...
Okay, what's this guy smoking? Is he just purposely... It's almost like he's just doing this to spite the chuds, like, just be kind of, like, sarcastic and insufferable. Dark Zeszy says, David Jaffe, Jeff Grubb, Neil Druckmann all changed so much. Don't even let me get started on Druckmann, man.
To all people. And clearly he's embracing the bad guy aspect here. The angle of, yeah, I know that I stole this story. I know that I'm getting all the credit for it and all the mainstream journalist media out there. What are you going to do about it? Well, Jeff, I'm going to make a video about it and completely expose you. I said on Twitter, breaking, Jeff Grubb...
Man, Smash could be an ass when he wants to, and it's funny when he does it. I think that's his Italian in him. So apparently he called him out. I remember seeing this briefly, but man, I had a busy day until just now.
Appears to have straight up stolen Grummz and Smash JT exclusive BioWare Corinne Busche story hours after we broke it, and mainstream media mafia gives him credit for the scoop. These people are real pieces of work.
That's the new thing we're going to call them, guys, the mainstream media mafia.
This is why no one trusts mainstream anymore. Zero integrity, zero credibility, zero accountability. Publications like Eurogamer, PC Gamer, VG247, IGN, and so many others originally credited Grubbz as a source.
Yeah, they will never credit Smash, especially when their partner in crime, the former Kotaku senior editor, is crying harassment from him.
Completely ignoring the hard work and verified sourcing done by Grummz and myself in the days leading up to it. Eventually, the game of telephone turns into everyone just ending up sourcing Eurogamer instead of having any kind of actual source. And this situation is actually particularly fascinating to see it happen.
They all just copy and paste. They want to call us regurgitators, chat. Like, they want to call us regurgitators. They all just copy and paste each other and put like a little credit and a link to the next website.
In real time, how they have the wrong source, they all parrot that wrong source, and then the other journals come in and start parroting the sources of the people that reported on the source, and this is all the truth and how it gets out there from these people, making sure they pat each other on the back, instead of, I don't know,
which is what they accuse us of doing.
There, who actually did the work on this, who brought it to everyone? Nah, that's not important. And hey, they have a source. You can't get mad at them because look, they sourced something. It all kicked off with Eurogamer stating, whispers of her exit began circulating online last night.
See, this is what's fucked up, because literally, I remember when Smash was live streaming, I hopped on with him, last night, and he brought this up. He brought this whole Corinne Busche thing up to me when he was live streaming last night. Jeff Grubb didn't report this until the morning. So they're even acknowledging that this began circling last night.
What, whispers of her exiting circulating? How about, hey, Smash JT and Grummz provided information from their sources and actual linked documents proving their case here.
Yeah.
You want to report on that?
I actually quote tweeted the fucking tweet last night too. I put wow. If I could find it. Let me go ahead and look for it. I put wow. Where's it at? Right here. And I'll show you the timestamp. 7:08 p.m. yesterday, guys. 7:08 p.m. yesterday. So it was out for at least 8 hours or more before Grubby Grubb got the credit.
Eurogamer, or do you have a bias against YouTubers and people on Twitter that you don't like, so that you just want to make it a blanket statement that it's just, hey, it's rumors, generic rumors out there from generic people.
They got to invalidate anybody that's not Axis Media.
And we're going to report on this because it seems likely, and we're first confirmed by journalist Jeff Grubb. No, they weren't. That's wrong, Eurogamer. Are you going to update your article and fix this?
Dan, Smash calling him out. I need to go and like all those posts later today.
I'm not going to hold my breath. Eurogamer can also confirm Busche is leaving BioWare. Hey, congratulations, Eurogamer. I already confirmed that. I guess it's nice that you confirmed it after I confirmed it, and after Grummz confirmed it. You want to take credit?
Oh, God. Jay's private stash called him Jeff Grubbworm, and Sev says Grubb is a fitting name for the guy. What a slimy thing to do.
Okay, you go do your thing. Eurogamer understands BioWare itself is otherwise unaffected by any other changes, contrary to the rumor, which is referencing how
all the crap going on with activism is ruining all of it. All of it. And sure, we're not going to get rid of it 100%. You know, that's not realistic, but you have to use your platform and be loud and share stuff and amplify it. Even if stuff is rumors, even if stuff is speculation, you're entitled to giving an opinion or a take on something or a criticism. And that's the thing, is that these people, like the Grubbs, like the Mercantes, they can't stand it that we are able to do that because we're monetizing it. That's what it's all about, the money with them.
How BioWare Edmonton may be shutting down in February of 2025, which I reported on in my previous video from my source directly, talking about how they are very close to what's happening at BioWare, and that is the current sentiment at the office right now. And I am just the messenger letting you guys know what's happening right there.
Yeah, he's just letting you know what his source. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, anybody could just make a video and claim they have sources or whatever. No, I known Smash for a while. I don't think he would ever lie that he has a source. Now, the source could be lying, but the source is sending him stuff and he's using it. So there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, guys, I have a source. Allegedly, this is going. That's not saying something statement. When you say allegedly, this is what I'm hearing. This is the rumor. This is allegedly what's happening. That's not saying it's fact. But the journalists don't understand how that works. Even though they work with inside sources all the time, they just don't like it because the sources aren't going to them.
As these mainstream outlets want to push a narrative and make you believe whatever the hell they say. But going back to how Eurogamer references it as the rumor without actually saying where they heard that from tells me they know exactly where it came from and are willfully ignoring it because they don't want to give credit to people they don't like. And I gotta be honest, this isn't about being friends behind the scenes or not liking people behind the scenes. It's about getting the story correct. That's what it should be all about.
Absolutely. They would never want to give you credit. Now, Dark Z says, at least he has receipts of the email and shows it, but journalists never show any how they got their leaks. Absolutely.
But then we we have PC Gamer with the original story. Dragon Age of Veilguard's game director Corinne Busche is said to be leaving BioWare after almost 2 decades at the company, according to multiple sources, which I guess would be me and Grummz. I guess that's, if you want to say multiple sources, and that's what...
Man, that's hilarious that they avoid to say the name. And what's funny is they all do that.
You're talking about? Okay. But why would you not name us unless you don't want us getting attention? It's just very curious. The first confirmation comes from journalist Jeff Grubb. What? What? What kind of information? Sources, receipts did he bring? Nothing. All he was doing...
Nothing. He hijacked it and then just changed whether the studio's closing or not. Emperor King says all they want is to make video games great again, like Elon Musk said. I agree on that. I concur.
He was commenting on, in his words, the rumor, which was literally confirmed by Grummz and me, but whatever, who wrote in a post on X that Corinne Busche, director of Dragon Age, really is leaving BioWare, and goes on to say the rest of it. Then they sourced Eurogamer, saying Eurogamer later confirmed the departure in a report, stating BioWare itself is otherwise unaffected by any changes, contrary to the rumor. I've also reached out to BioWare for comment. And
see, here's the thing, though. Like, again, like somebody pointed out, Smash showed receipts with an email. So did Grummz. What did Jeff Grubb show? Other than his word. Again, we're going to find out in February if BioWare closes or not. And if Smash's source was wrong, then they were wrong.
And I'll update this article if I receive a response. Okay, well, I hope you take this as a response to say, update your article, remove Jeff Grubb from any mention of it, because he has nothing to do with the story, and put the actual sources in there. But again, not holding my breath. Then we got
Don't hold your breath.
24/7 that said, Dragon Age the Veilguard game director Corinne Busche is reportedly leaving BioWare, having spent a total of 18 years at publisher EA working on various titles. This is according to...
They were there for 18 years, and then they just lost a writer that was there for 15.
Giant Bomb's Jeff Grubb, whose confirmation of Busche leaving has since been corroborated by Eurogamer. Look at how these people operate. They literally lifted a story and now created the story on their own, built their own story up on their house of cards, and they're like, yep, this is a story, we're running with it. We don't need those independent creators out there.
House of Cards is the best way to describe it, everybody. House of Cards.
We'll just steal the information and manipulate it and source somebody that we're buddies with or we've trusted in the past.
100%.
And we won't make any mention of where it came from or who said it first.
Yeah, that's what they do.
And move forward like nobody even knows. Then we got Games Radar saying Busche is now reportedly departing from BioWare following her 18-year-long career at EA, which, by the way, just a quick trend here that I've noticed, they all say basically the same thing. It almost feels like everyone's just taking the Eurogamer article.
Yeah, they're taking Eurogamer, rewriting it, probably running it through ChatGPT, in my opinion. Shout out to Hypnotic. What's up, dude? How you doing, man? Good to see you in the chat.
Pasting it into ChatGPT and saying, hey, make this sound different so I can spit it out on my article. Like, they didn't even put any work into this. They all parrot the wrong idea, the wrong source, and nobody cares about any accountability here. Where she's worked as both a designer...
Man, I swear, dude, like, all the years I used Jeff Grubb as a credit, I never known him to be a wacko like he is today. That has to be new, or I was blind. I don't fucking know.
And design director on various entries within the Sims series, including The Sims 4. The news was initially revealed by journalist Jeff Grubb in an online post and later confirmed by Eurogamer. No, it wasn't. Again, these people are either completely stuck in their own echo chamber or will...
I think when Grubb was on that giant bomb couch next to Mercante, he got infected.
...fully ignorant of the truth. Either way, it's not a great look for the actual truth in journalism. The Gamer reports first emerged about the exit last night and were confirmed today by Jeff Grubb. Corinne Busche has reportedly left BioWare. Then we got GameIndustry.biz sources their own sister site instead of Jeff Grubb. So now it's moved on from Jeff Grubb as the source to now Eurogamer's the source. It's like, can you guys at least do a little bit of work? I'm begging you.
Yeah, they're just copy and pasting at that point. Like he said earlier, it's telephone where the story changes a little bit each time.
Dragon Age the Veilguard director Corinne Busche has reportedly left BioWare. According to our sister site, Eurogamer, Bush recently departed from the studio. GameIndustry.biz has reached out to blah 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 blah. Then we got IGN now referencing Eurogamer. The game of telephone continues. And now
See, all these guys are in with each other, dude. Could you imagine if all these articles came out and said Smash JT and Grummz? That would never happen in a million years. Could you imagine all these woke websites crediting two of the people that they have the most derangement syndrome for? Would never happen.
Eurogamer, like I said, has become the source of truth. Eurogamer reported that Bush, who was game director on Dragon Age the Veilguard from February 2022 to its launch last year, is set to leave the studio in the coming weeks. IGN has asked EA for comment. Then the same thing with Push Square. Dragon Age the Veilguard game director Corinne Busche...
Dude, I don't go to half of these fucking websites. I don't go to half of these websites.
Leaving BioWare after 18 years, blah, 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 as Eurogamer reports. So as you can see here, it starts out with Eurogamer sourcing the wrong person because most likely, my assumption would be, there's some sort of buddy-buddy connection behind the scenes where they're trying to prop people up that they're close with, they're friends with behind the scenes and say, sure, we'll just give credit to this guy because the credibility goes a long way in this industry. And this is the problem. When you start sourcing the wrong people because they're your buddies, your own credibility starts falling.
You know what's going to be great? You know what's going to be great if BioWare Edmonton does shut down? All these websites that credited Jeff Grubb. And they're talking about credibility and all this crap. If it shuts down in February, like Smash's source says, they're all going to have egg on their face. They're all going to look retarded.
You have to be clear here. Grubb didn't corroborate the story, provide sources, or even credit the original reporting. Those of us in the know have witnessed the obvious connections in mainstream games journalism behind the scenes and how they create narratives how they want them to look and make themselves look far more important than they really are. It's one big club and we're not in it. Grubb opted for the classic mainstream move, cherry-picking the narrative to fit his agenda while conveniently...
I actually think Smash used Grubb as a source in the past before for some of his videos as well.
Sidelining any of the actual sources doing the real legwork behind the scenes. Even more infuriating, Grubb has me blocked on Twitter, meaning that he knew exactly where the information was coming from, but decided, nah, it's way easier to pretend that I didn't exist, so he could...
I'm not blocked yet.
In the first place for it. And here's the other thing. Jeff Grubb isn't the biggest fan of me because I talked about this in a different video, and from that he blocked me. So obviously he doesn't have the best outlook and opinion of me. I get that. I don't expect everyone to love me, but it doesn't matter about who you like and who you don't like. It matters about getting it right. That's at the end of the day.
That's right too. But it's also who you know, which all these guys are butt buddies with Grubb. I fully expect Grubb to block me after this video, the stream gets out there and I clip it.
People care about. People don't care about the behind the scenes, who hates each other, who likes each other, who's good friends, who's not. We're getting into some weird zone that has nothing to do with actually reporting the information to the people, which at the end of the day is all it's about. But the bigger problem here is how the mainstream gaming outlets seemingly all fell in line behind Grubb's tweet, referencing him.
You know what I want to know? And this is an honest question, chat. I've seen some of these like journalists, these woke journalists, say that it looks like people like me and whoever don't bathe, that we look like we're ungroomed, that we're greasy. What do you have to say about this dude? What do you have to say about this guy? Yeah, they say that I'm a hairy, middle-aged guy that looks like I have a sheen of grease, that I look like I live in a basement, look like an incel. Like, that's literally describing that's literally describing Jeff Grubb. Like, I'm not trying to fucking be a hater or anything. I just find that funny that that's used against me. I mean, am I wrong on that, guys? Let me know in the comments. Am I wrong? He literally looks like what they say I look like.
or Eurogamer as the story's primary source, despite him lacking any kind of evidence, information, or original reporting. The fact that these outlets didn't even attempt to acknowledge Grummz' initial tweet or my subsequent article and video are a much deeper issue. The cozy echo chamber designed to protect their own while ignoring independent creators.
Sev says it's just what they do because they can't counter the argument. Absolutely. They go to looks, they go to your age, then they tell you a grifter.
This is why no one trusts mainstream journalism, and this is why they keep failing. The mafia-like behavior ensures that the same names get credit all the time, no matter who is undeserving.
Mafia is a way to describe it.
Independent journalists that are silenced and ignored, no matter how hard they work behind.
Dearest Abby says mocking someone's appearance is such low-hanging fruit. Yep, and they do that all the time.
Behind the scenes. It's a blatant attempt to gatekeep the industry and control the narrative. But here's the thing. Gamers aren't buying it anymore, and they haven't been for a very long time, and we're winning. This situation is Exhibit A as...
Ah, man, I still, every once in a while, guys, I go and watch this clip. The other day, I actually found the full live stream, and I sat down and watched, like, everybody's little interview and all that. I fucking cringed.
To why mainstream games journalism is completely crumbling. Publications that once long ago prided themselves on investigative work have now devolved into glorified PR outlets for AAA studios. They're prioritizing clicks and narratives over the truth. Meanwhile, real gamers on platforms like YouTube and Twitter and even their own websites are the ones doing the actual work, digging deep, asking tough questions, and delivering accurate information without corporate filters. And it's something I'd like to think that all these mainstream journals, when they see their entire careers burning to the ground,
they're all burning to the ground. They're all, and I'm not trying to relish in the fact that somebody loses their job and stuff, guys, but it's not coincidence.
Take a look over the fence and say, what are they doing that's working? And why are people always being drawn over to them instead of us, and say, maybe it has something to do with being honest with your audience. The original report started from Grummz and myself, where Grummz posted on Twitter, leak. Corinne Busche, game director of Dragon Age Veilguard, has left BioWare and EA. BioWare Edmonton, the Veilguard studio, to be shuttered. Yeah. BioWare Dragon Age.
They posted this yesterday, like, early. It was, like, in the afternoon, like, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. I know I quote tweeted it, like, at 7.
The farewell email was shared with me, and I verified her leaving with Smash JT's contact at EA/BioWare. The rumor that goes with this is that the Edmonton offices of BioWare will be shuttered in February, just before EA Town Hall for investors and gamers. It's sad that after completely destroying the game with DEI trans scars and terrible characters and writing, that the game director responsible for it all bails and leaves everyone holding the bag. These people often fail upwards, though, as woke studio system bent on promoting activists instead of great developers. Sad.
Absolutely. They need to stop hiring activists.
This is our first collab. Check out JT's video on it in the reply for more details. And then he links the actual sources that we verified.
See, they actually showed an email. They actually had stuff shown. Grubb didn't do any of this.
Emails, documents, information directly from Corinne Busche and people that are connected at BioWare that know this information. Why wouldn't Eurogamer source this? Why wouldn't they build an article about this? Maybe they didn't know. Maybe they didn't see it. Maybe they're just buddy-buddy with Jeff Grubb and they didn't know this even existed. But if that's the case...
Portal Player says politics and DEI really don't belong in game development. I agree, and they don't belong in game journalism either.
Jeff Grubb's tweet just says rumors are referenced. He didn't even say anything about anything. Why would they corroborate and make this whole article out if they didn't actually see the information? And, oh, by the way, don't even try to tell me that they don't know who Grummz is, because they all know who Grummz is. It's a very small world.
They all have Grummz derangement syndrome, guys.
World in the gaming industry, and everybody in it knows everybody. This isn't just about taking credit, it's far more about trust. When mainstream journalists take credit for the hard work of independent creators without acknowledging the actual sources and what they've done to get to the conclusions they have, they once again reinforce the belief that their industry is rotten completely to the core. Gamers see through all these lies, though, which is why they keep turning to independent creators and people on YouTube, their own websites, or on Twitter, following people they trust and backing them up with the sources. It's exactly why people like Jeff Grubb continue to fail, and why all these mainstream media sources like Eurogamer, VG
Yep.
24/7,
Spitting facts.
the Push Square, like you name them, they all parrot each other's articles. They don't even put work into any journalism anymore. They just pump it out to make the money, as much money as they can, as fast as possible.
Dude, they can't even be bothered to write game guides. And Emperor King says, isn't that why Kotaku Australia shut down? Because they aren't doing gaming journalism, because they're doing politics. 110% on the head. But, we don't have to worry about Kotaku Australia anymore.
Churn and burn to the next article. It's actually kind of, when you take a step back, a sad state of affairs that the industry's in. But hey, that's only if you pay attention to them. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you guys want more information, check out Smash.
Not a bad video, man. I think Grubb is not looking too good in this situation. Bro, Grubb, what are you doing, man? What are you doing, Grubb? He's probably going to block me after this. So, yeah, definitely ridiculous situation. Not all these websites clearly teaming up together to not address the proper credit. All right, chat. Sorry about that. When I'm doing like certain segments like that, I'm trying to I intend on clipping that later. So when there's stuff that's kind of like off topic or questions and stuff like that, I'll come back and address it. I want to say hi to people who popped in. I know Abby and Mock popped in, Steven popped in, D popped in, Portal popped in, Nedson just popped in. How you guys doing? Somebody asked, how do you call Johnny Longfeather? You have to be a YouTube member or a Patreon, and then from there, join the Discord. Make sure you're integrated with your Patreon or your YouTube membership to Discord. So integrate YouTube or Patreon to YouTube, and if you're a YouTube member, you could join members waiting. And actually, we have VJC in there. I'm gonna pull VJC in.